right, we are live. We are live. Had some technical issues, but I still got my man Al Woods. Gonna bring him on into the fray. All right. Brother Al, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
One own business. You're a college recruiter, Woods Recruiting. So we wanted to promote that. You also train college recruiters. You train me. I'm a college recruiter as well. But I wanted to get into a major topic before we talked about your business. And the topic
Okay.
is high school black athletes failing. And we have so many high school black athletes that are not getting a college education because they're not becoming eligible. So I wanted to talk about that, but first let me start by having you give your background on some of the things that you've been doing and your experience in the business.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me on. I'm glad to be here on your show. So we started Woods Recruiting back in August of 1989. So that would mark 30 years, actually. It'll be 30 years like next week, the 15th. So I got into it because when I got to college, there was a lot of my teammates that didn't have the traditional way of going to college. You know, they didn't go from high school directly to college. It was like high school, sat out a year, maybe went to junior college, and then we all ended up at the same school. So I was like, well, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Especially when my roommate in college was a great player, great player. And I'm like, how could he be overlooked? This guy is good. You know, came from New York, played at Rucker Park, did all those different things, but he was overlooked. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I've been working with student athletes for a long time, helping. We mainly started with basketball, then we branched off into football, and then all the other sports came along as well. And then we decided later on to get involved with bringing in a team of scouts and training scouts because I felt we needed more scouts because there was still so many student athletes slipping through the cracks. So that's kind of how I got into Woods Recruiting, working with scouts, and that's kind of been my background.
Right. Now, it's very important. I want to make this known that college is very expensive. I know everybody knows that, but the chance to get a college education for free is very important. Dr. Boyce Watkins in the Black Business School, it always teaches that, college is very expensive. And a lot of these people go, they don't have a plan, they get a degree. And the main thing is they owe a lot of student loans. And you're telling me that a college athlete can get a scholarship, get a degree, and have no student loans. I think is more important than anything. I wanted to read you a stat. Well, this was a statement. It was by the Iowa and to acquire skills and contacts that have brought them success in business and profession. Can you talk about how the importance of a scholarship is for black high school athletes?
It's everything. I mean, you may be coming from a situation where your family can't afford to write a check to go to college. Okay, so if it wasn't for your athletic background, then how are you going to get a college scholarship, and how are you going to get an education if you can't afford it, if you can't pay for it? Right. So sports becomes a way out for a lot of the African American community. I mean, that's just how I see it. I mean, sports is everything. There's a lot of people who are not athletes will go off to college and they have this crushing student loan debt. And it's going to take them, 20 years, 25 years to pay it off in most cases. but the African American athlete can get that scholarship, and they won't have that anchor basically hanging around their neck of that student loan debt, that responsibility. So athletics is huge.
Well, here's the big question. Why aren't our
Mm-hmm.
young brothers getting the scholarships? Why are they failing? Why don't they know about their eligibility requirements? What's going on?
Well, I think one of the biggest issues I see is they're not being prepared when they're in high school. Okay, it seems like a lot of the schools just push them through. Okay, get them through ninth grade, 10th, 11th, graduate, and now they're out the door, and the school system is done with them. They can check them off and say, yeah, we have a great graduation rate. Then they're not prepared to do anything beyond that, to do college work. They're not preparing them for the SAT or the ACT, which is critical. I mean, you could have a really great grade point average, but if you can't pass that test, get a high score, you're not going to college. You're going to go to junior college someplace. So I think that's probably one of the big issues I see. They're just not being prepared enough at the high school level.
I'm glad you, and that was a perfect gateway going into what I wanted to read to you. I'm gonna read you a snippet from an article
Okay.
that I got online. It's from Bust Ed, Bust BUST Ed ED Pencils. The process
Okay.
starts as children. Many black youth with demonstrable talent are put on sports assembly lines before they are out of elementary school. They are told, this is your ticket. Even before they are aware of the academic requirements, children know they're going to
Right.
college on a sports scholarship. They associate college with, they associate college life with athletics. The only exposure they have of college is becoming an athletic star. Once they get older and head to high school, grades are just something they have to get to stay eligible. Education is not valued in its own right. Youth are encouraged to get by and stay eligible as opposed to trying their best, earning high marks, and taking college challenging courses. My question is, um, what do you suggest at the junior high to high school level for kids to be more prepared for becoming eligible grade wise?
Okay, that was a great question. I think the summer times, the kids have a lot of downtime, even though they're playing, club sports, they're on travel teams, tournaments, and all that kind of stuff. But they still have a huge amount of downtime during the summer months. So why not get the team together for study groups? Okay, you got in most cities, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Every city has libraries. The libraries are free. They're air conditioned. They've got books. They've got the SAT book, the ACT book. So why don't they get together as a group? They're always promoting that the team should be together, team unity, and all of that. So why not some of the parents, some of the fathers, some of the mothers? They could be the team dad, the team mom. Get these players together, go to libraries, and work in study groups to study for the SAT, ACT, or other areas that they may need some help on. That way, they're prepared as they roll into the next year of school. They're ready. They're not behind. They're ready to roll. They're ready to go. When I was coming up as a kid, that's what me and my brother used to do during the summer months. My mom would always be like, don't y'all read anything else but sports books? So we started getting into other activities, history and, the government, just all kind of topics we started to study during the summer months because, as a kid, you got a lot of downtime, right? There's no school or whatever. So I think that's where it could start, and then it could carry over when these kids are finished high school. Maybe they could come back in the summer and mentor and tutor the kids who are coming up, especially the ones who are still in middle school. Okay, because sometimes it seems like there's a transition from middle school, and then when they get into high school, this might be like a little bit of a drop off. They get in the ninth grade, it's a different school, different people, different environment. They might struggle a little bit. But if they had mentors, who are helping them during the summer months to make that transition academically, I think that would be great. Because what I see sometimes is that you'll have these kids come in as freshmen and they do so poorly, okay, academic wise, and then they're spending the next 2 to 3 years playing catch up,
Right.
okay. But if they had mentorship, transitioning into high school, summer mentorship, working with them academically. I mean, the library is free, the books are free. All they have is time. Then they can work on this. Maybe it's once a week, twice a week. They can set it up, get there in the morning and work on it. I mean, because we already know that they're going to be decent athletically. We know that. Okay, they're working on their game. That's their passion. But they need to have the other part of it as well, the academic side, and that's critical.
You are with Woods Recruiting. That's the company that you have now, and that's all still the same, correct? WoodsRecruiting.com?
Yes.
Wonderful. Talk about what does WoodsRecruiting.com, Woods Recruiting, your own company, black owned. Talk about what you do in terms of helping the families, the parents, and the high school athlete understand the eligibility requirements.
Well, what we try to do is to find out where they stand academically before we accept a penny of their money. Okay, because I'm not going to work with an athlete who doesn't have the grades because we can't help them. There's nothing we can do. So we try to find out where they stand academically, what their GPA is, their core GPA, the classes they're taking, and then more importantly, have they been in preparation for the SAT or the ACT, whatever they prefer. They offer this test, I believe, 6 or 7 times a year, so it's important. I think it does come with a fee to pay for that test, but I believe they should take the test as many times as offered. Okay, they may not need to take it 7 times in a year when they are eligible to take that test, but from what I understand, the more you take the test, the better you're going to get, the higher your score, the stronger you're going to get, the more confident you're going to get in that. So those are the things we talk about with the families. If they don't have it together academically, we can't help them. I've talked to what seems like 1 million college coaches, and they all have said basically the same thing. If they don't have the grades, there's nothing we can do for them. So grades are critical.
Now, before I ask you this question, because I already know the answer, I have a youth basketball program, Team Rumble, TeamRumbleFamily.com. And a lot of our parents say, hey, coach, when should I start and I'm talking about young parents, wait till I get to high school and everything, and I start the college recruiting. And I'm like, whoa, your college recruiting starts now. It starts in elementary school. I just want to stress that. It starts with learning how to get educated, learning how to pass tests, learning how to be a good student. Those are the things that are very important. And I want to stress that to all of these parents, because a lot of times they think it's just about basketball in high school. But if you get to high school and you're not ready academically, so for all of these fathers that have kids that are little phenoms, please do me one favor and focus on your grades just as well as your athletic ability. What do you say about that?
Well, I agree. Recruiting is so competitive now. And these college programs are having to make hard decisions on who to choose to recruit or even to make an offer to. So it's like for the student athlete, what are they going to do as an athlete to separate themselves from the pack? Do they have what it takes athletically, or do they have what it takes academically? Plus, the process is I kind of look at it from middle school through high school, which is 6 years. Okay, so you've got that middle school years to get it together. What is that? 7th and 8th grade to get your act together academically, to develop some skills and some habits athletically and academically, where you can make that transition. But recruiting starts, right now. I mean, every year they're in school, that's recruiting. Every day is recruiting. There's no off season in recruiting. Everyone thinks that there is an off season. There's not. You know what I mean?
And here's a question that I already know what you're going to say, but a lot of people don't understand. When you first see a high school athlete, what's the first question you ask them?
Well, it's always going to be two questions. One is going to be, but I'll put it this way: it's what the college coaches will ask me is, can he or she play? Yes. And then what are their grades?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So the answers to both of those questions have to be basically two thumbs up. It can't be, half and half or he's trying. It can't be that way. So, I mean, they could be the next Michael Jordan, the next great athlete. But if they don't have the grades, they can't help it. They'll say, well, if it's basketball, they'll say, okay, we can maybe recommend a junior college. But then you got kids coming from different cities, Cleveland, Baltimore, different cities, Philly, Chicago, Detroit, whatever. And if they've got to go to junior college, they're going to a school that's so far away from home, okay, that they are out of their element, okay? They're going to be in an environment where they're not used to. They're going to be in a town that is their neighborhood street, their block, their neighborhood is bigger than the town they're going to be at. So they're going to be out of their element. They're going to feel like they're being punished. And in a way they are because they didn't get it done in high school. So now they got to go to junior college. And that's very competitive as well. So you may not get to pick the junior college you want to go to. Okay. And so you're out there fighting for what's available or what's left. And if they just focused on academics early enough, then they may not run into this problem. I mean, it's the thing I always try to tell these athletes is that for every hour you put into athletic development, you need to put equal amount of time into academic development. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's part of the process.
Now, I wanted to read something to you. It's from National College Athletics Association. And a lot of parents need to understand this, and players. And it's pretty much the NCAA states only about 2% of high school students earn athletic scholarships for college. In 2017, 181 approximately student athletes received scholarships out of 7.3 million. That blew my mind. 7 million, less than 200,000 got scholarships. That percentage is crazy. And then it goes a little deeper. A little over 7% of high school athletes, that's 1 out of 14, went on to play a varsity sport in college. And less than 2% of high school athletes, that's 1 in every 54, went on to play at the D1 level. And that's the largest percentage for both black male and female, white or black. My thing is to you, how do you deal with kids that have those big dreams and now you got to come down and say, hey, you're not a D1 athlete or you're not a North Carolina. You may be a North Carolina Central or something of that nature. You may not be D1. You may be D2. And another thing before I let you answer the question, D3 schools are hard to get into. Just because you think you can play and you should have been D1 or D2, academically, D3 schools are hard to get into. So how do you go about talking to the family, the parents, and the especially the player to come with the realistic expectations?
Well, that's a hard thing to get across to the student athlete. As here are our goals. It's about winning. It's about the team. Are you coachable? Be good in the classroom, be a great citizen in the community, in the school. So they're constantly having that message drilled into them about being the best, the best, the best, the best. And that's going on for their middle school, all through high school, during the summer months, during their season, be the best. So then someone comes along and says, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and take second best? Don't go D1, try D2. And so the kids are like, well, you've been teaching me for years to be the best, and now you want me to take second best? So my thing is shoot for the best, okay? If you can play at Ohio State or Maryland or Virginia or Kentucky or some big major college programs, then all the athletes should shoot for that. That should be their goal, to go D1. Now, They're all going to fall short of that. They just don't know that right now. But if they're shooting for the best and they fall short of that, then they're still going to end up in a situation where they could get a scholarship someplace, a strong financial package someplace. They're going to get into college someplace. But I think all of them should go for the absolute best all the time, no matter what. It would be like, am I going to wear Nikes or some off-brand that I never heard of? Okay?
Right.
Everybody's going for the Nikes. They're not going to wear the off-brand shoe that they never heard of, right?
Right.
So go for the best. You can't. It's hard to get that message across because one of the things too is that during that travel ball season, they're seeing the so-called best players. They're playing against those players, right? And they're like, well, I can compete with that guy. He ain't no better than me. So they should go for it. They should go for it. And then once the reality starts to come along here and they realize that maybe I can't play at these big time schools, then accept the best opportunity where you can go to school, play your sport, and get an education, get a degree.
Now, let me ask you this question. This is an emotional question for me, and I'm getting frustrated. Like I said, I deal with the youth. And again, this is Real Truth and Power Live. We're with Al Woods, woodsrecruiting.com. And Real Truth and Power is giving powerful information to uplift the black community. I'm really getting sick of this, Al, and it's disturbing me. Why our young youth, black kids, aren't getting eligible? They're not passing. They're not doing the things they need to do. What do you think? Do you think it's a system thing? Is it the parents? Are the parents just not doing their job? Is it the system? I know school systems suck, and that's an issue as well. What do you think about that?
The school systems are bad, okay? So it just depends on where you're coming from. The curriculum hasn't changed at all. It's the same stuff. And the kids, they're bored. I mean, you're gonna tell a kid, okay, who is Abraham Lincoln? Well, all they're going to do is punch it up on their phone, and they're going to say, "Here he is." Right. Okay, right?
The new way.
Right. The school is boring. Okay, I think if they made school where the student can pick the courses they want to take in school, like college, then they all would go. They would be engaged. It wouldn't be boring. I mean, every kid doesn't care about Christopher Columbus or Abraham Lincoln. Maybe that kid cares about how to fix a car or an air conditioner, or maybe they're good with their hands with carpentry work. Maybe a female student is good with hair or sewing or something, cooking, something, computers, So everyone, I believe, has a skill. Everyone. They have something that they know how to do, that they're passionate about. Maybe they saw their father do something, or their uncle, or their older sibling or something, cousin, who knows, do something, and they want to do that, but they don't offer it in school. So then I'm going to school doing math and history and all this other stuff, and it's boring. So I think that's one of the issues. I think another issue is that the parents need to take a more proactive approach when it comes to the schoolwork. When the kids are coming home from school and they got homework, they should have homework every night, okay? Mm-hmm. So whether the teacher has given them homework or not, they should have something they need to be studying every night. And the parents should sit down with them, whether it's for a half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour, whatever, and just go over it with them. Now you got the parent and the young person working together, reading out loud, going over different math problems. The parent may learn something too, but now they're working together, and that shows the kid that the parent cares, and they're going to take more pride in themselves to say, hey, okay, I'm going to show my dad, or I'm going to show my mom or my uncle or my grandma that I can get these grades. They're going to come, hey, my report card is coming in the mail in a couple of days. When I get it, I'm going to show you what I did. So they would have more pride if more people took interest in their academics. I mean, it is disturbing. I've worked with a lot of kids, and a lot of them did not get into college because of their grades. They had the athletic ability, okay? And it just was crushing when they couldn't get into school. And we tried everything to help them, and they couldn't get in. And it's like this kid could have went on to college and done great things, but now they're working at a minimum wage job, and they're going to end up having a minimum wage lifestyle. And that is very troublesome to me when that happens. I mean, especially when they have the athletic gift, okay? And then it should be more of a community to pull together and help them and work with them. I mean, they're staying out of trouble so they can play ball, right? So let's help them get the education. We're talking about adults who are more savvy with the way of the world. Okay, they know the importance of a good job, a good paying job, a good neighborhood to live in. The parents know that because their parents are older. But these are the kids who need to learn these things. So I think more parent involvement would help. And then the parents need to go out to the school. They need to talk to all the teachers. Okay, they don't need to come there and have an attitude because their son or daughter, are not getting the grades.
Right.
Okay, the teacher can only do so much. They got so many kids they got to teach and work with. So the parents need to come out there and say, what can I do to help my son? What can I do to help my daughter? Okay, what things do we need to work on? Talk to the teacher. Then the teacher will know who that kid is. They will know that parent because the parent has taken an active role in their development. Just don't let it be you send them off to school and hope they come back home safe and that's it. Find out what they're doing. They don't have to watch TV all day and be on the phone, But if the parent, I'll stress this again, if the parent is spending more time working with them one-on-one when they get home from school, make time. Make time. If you're complaining about they're not doing good at school, then what are you doing from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and 11 o'clock at night? Are you watching TV? Are you on your phone? Are you on Facebook? Cut back some of that and get into this work. Okay? That's just how I see it.
Well, my next question is, and somebody had told me that we had a little error in the title, but we'll get that straight right now. Why aren't Black families contacting college recruiters like yourself? Real Truth and Power, we have a college program, and we're definitely going to get your program into ours so they can just contact you and use Woods Recruiting. Why aren't they contacting college recruiters?
Well, one of the things is that it definitely costs money, and they're scared of the price. They're scared of the fact that, okay, if I pay my money, are we going to get value? Are we going to get what they say they're going to do for us? And so that's one of the issues. And then they'll say, well, that's where the high school coach's responsibility is to help them get recruited. That's where the club coach comes in to help them get recruited. So I know from 30 years being in this business that a lot of high school coaches don't want to get involved in it. A lot of club coaches are only interested in club coaching.
Right.
And so there's going to be a big major disconnect. And then they figure, okay, why did I pay this money for him to be on this club team if he's not going to, why do I need you? So that's kind of the message that's going on. So, and then I would want to go with a trained professional, So like for me, I don't know anything about cars. Okay. I tell this scenario all the time. I don't know anything about cars. I know how to put gas in the car, windshield washer fluid in, check the oil. That's about it. If I have to lift up the hood to find where the spark plugs were and all of that, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to break something on the car. So I'm going to take my car that I pay good money for and I'm paying on to a trained professional who's going to take care of it for me. That way I don't have the worry and the headache of dealing with my car. I need my car. Everybody needs their car, right? So I'm not going to take it to my friend down the street who works on cars. I'm taking it to a trained professional because we all need our cars. And when it comes to recruiting, the thing that the parents have to realize is that you only get one chance. You get one chance with recruiting. If you mess it up, there is no second chance.
You all right over there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know, some water or something. But yeah, that's how I look at it. One chance with recruiting, there's no second chances. And a lot of kids are looking for a second chance and they're not going to get it.
Right.
That's how I see it. Excuse me.
Now, how old the kids do you recommend them contacting? What grades, what age should they be contacting Woods Recruiting to start getting ready to enter into a program like yourself?
Well, definitely before their senior year. Okay, definitely before their senior year. We can talk to them freshman year. We've kind of identified some middle school kids, but if they're in high school, we can work with them. I don't have a problem talking to them because I know how the process lays out. I know because I like to know where they stand academically. Like I said, we're not gonna work with a kid who has bad grades. So if we know that they have good grades, athletic ability, the size, all the intangibles, then yeah, we can help them. We can work with them. Excuse me.
That's okay. I got a couple more questions, Al, before you choke to death on me. I don't want that. I definitely don't want that to happen. Here's a question because that's very funny. How many times do you talk to a parent, a player, but most times parents, and you try to persuade their child to get into the program? I've been there. You try to help them out cost-wise as much as you can, and they say, "Oh man, I'm good to go. My recruiting is fine." And then they call you in April and May and saying they need help. How often does that happen? And how can college recruiters avoid that by persuading and getting the parents to come down to reality?
Excuse me. Well, there's no way around that. I mean, I've been dealing with that forever. But what I do is I try to keep getting them information, probably every week, every 2 weeks, whether it's a text message or through Facebook, Twitter, an email. But I try to send them information about the process, how it works. I'm not trying to sell them on anything. I'm trying to just make them aware and give them information. That way they can make a decision. Hey, time is running out. The longer you think about it, Mr. Parent, scholarship money is disappearing. The longer you think about it, that school just signed another player. That's one less opportunity for your kid. So I try to do that in more of a written form, audio form, video form. That way they can go look at it, on their phone in their spare time. If I'm talking to them about it directly, they're going to half hear what I'm saying, okay? Then they're going to forget the rest of it when we get off the phone talking. But if I'm able to send them something in writing, audio, video, where they can listen to or read at their leisure, then that message is going to hit home a little stronger. And if you keep pounding that message away, then they're going to see it. They're going to realize what's going on, that they have to make a decision. But when it gets too late, you can't sign them up. You can't sign them up, and you got to try to get them early. So I try to get them, 10th grade, 11th grade year, sign them up, work with them, try to get some things happening for them now, and then go and say, hey, what other parents did you know who can benefit from what we're doing? Go after those parents as well. Okay, if you get 3 referral, 1 signs up with you, then repeat the process. Well, who else do you know? Okay, these kids are all on club teams. They're not on the same high school team. They know everybody. The parents know all the other parents. And that conversation between a parent and another parent is a great conversation to have because they have their own language. So that way, that will kind of minimize them coming to you come April and May when it's like basically, over pretty much.
Right,
right. They're going to end up getting the scraps. I mean, we had some kids a couple of years ago that came to us late, Okay.
Uh-huh.
And please, please, please help us. Please, 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 please. You know, they were begging for help. So I said, okay. And so the schools were interested, but there wasn't hardly any money. Okay. There was no scholarship. The school, it might have cost $8,000 to go to the school. The school said, we'll take care of half, and you got to come up with 4,000. Well, they didn't have it. Okay. So talented basketball player, football player couldn't go to school because they didn't have the money. Even though the school wanted them, they didn't have the money. So that's what's going to happen if they wait till April and May of their senior year. Plus, they've had 6 years. They didn't have 1 year. They've had 6 years. So here we are right now. We are coming to the end of the summer, okay? Mm-hmm. And so all these kids are talking about the offers that they're receiving. For every kid that's getting an offer, there's probably 1,000 that are not, right, that haven't received the offer. And they're heading into their senior year. A lot of places, they're going back to school already in a lot of different places. So that's something they need to be aware of. Hey, all the other kids are receiving offers. The summer is over. You should have gotten an offer too. You didn't. You need to come and sign up with us so we can get your name out there. These are things you have to tell them.
Yeah, man, that was deep. Let me ask you this, and I always do the cool when I talk about those crazy parents. Tell a story of how a crazy parent, I'll say it that way, because they don't mean any harm. They're very passionate. They love their kids, but they don't even realize how crazy they are. Talk about how a crazy parent has hurt the recruiting process. Tell a story about that for that child.
Okay. Actually, this probably was about 20 years ago. And it actually was a football parent from Maryland. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the kid was big. He was like 6'4", 275, big football player. He had game, but his grades were terrible. Okay. He didn't even have a 2-point GPA. Okay. So I'm talking with the father, and I'm saying, Mr. Parent, it's going to have to be junior college for your son. Right. The parent is like, we don't want junior college. Mm-hmm. I said, well, his grades are bad. I said, there's nothing we can do but just junior college. No. We don't want junior college. We want him to go D1, D2. We don't want junior college. He kept just stressing that point. And I kept telling him over and over. I said, sir, his grades are bad. There's nothing I can do but only get him into junior college. And so he was like, all right, we're going to sign up with you and let's see what you do. So signs up, pays us money. We start working. So some junior colleges are calling him. Probably like 8 or 9 of them call within 2 weeks. And the father calls me up and he's complaining. I told you we didn't want junior college. I told you no junior colleges. We didn't want none of that. What are you doing to us? And I kept telling him, I said, that was the only available option he had was junior college. Well, we don't want that. So slams the phone down. This is before cell phones was big. He had a phone, slams it down, hangs up on me. I don't hear from him no more. Next thing I know, I hear from the Better Business Bureau.
What?
from Maryland, the Better Business Bureau of Maryland, calling, well, so-and-so parent has filed a complaint, and I explained it to them the same way, and they understood. Okay? I guess maybe they were college educated or something. They understood what I was talking about, so they didn't pursue it any further, and that was kind of the end of it. So sometimes parents don't want to listen. Yeah. And I've had one where it was a female basketball player. She had a 4.0 GPA.
Wow. Okay.
4.0, good player. And so all she was hearing from was junior colleges. So I reached out to their coach, and the coach was like, well, Mr. Woods, so-and-so, she failed the SAT.
Oh.
I said, what?
With a 4.0.
I said, oh. Yeah, 4.0, couldn't pass the SAT. And the mother was like, we don't need to do that. She got a 4.0. She's been on the honor roll and this, that.
That lack of knowledge. That lack of
So,
knowledge.
lack of knowledge. So she said, we don't want junior college. I said, well, that's all you got. That's all you're going to get. So she ended up going to junior college. She didn't play basketball. It was over.
Man, you're very, very passionate about college recruiting, and that's why I got in your program back in the day and started my own college recruiting program before we incorporated it with Real Truth and Power.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that program now? Are you still training college recruiters?
We had, we trained a lot of people. I think we had, the numbers was off the hook.
Right.
People who came through the program. I
was the best, Al. I think I was the best. I'm just joking.
We had some good ones. You were up there. Because I think I remember when you finished the course, and it might have been maybe the same month you finished it. I remember you calling me up or something around 10:30 at night, saying you had signed up a whole bunch of people.
I was excited.
I got to, this is a lot, and it was like you hit a grand slam right out the gate,
Yeah, it was a grind time. It was a phenomenal time, man. It was definitely phenomenal, and I want to thank you for that, because not only did I start my own college program, I used those tools to help my son with his recruitment. I mean, he had other people helping, and he was doing it himself, and his play spoke. But he's a D1 college player, played in the NCAA Final 64, and just the blessing to have a full scholarship. That's all I cared about. He's going to walk away. Okay. He's going to walk away loan free. Well, we'll worry about the next level of basketball and life after that. But I mean, we use those same tools, and now I have college coaches contacting me every now and then. So it was just phenomenal, to get that teaching from you. It was a blessing. I definitely personally, me and my family and the athletes that we've helped out, we definitely want to give you a thanks for that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think we need more scouts. I mean, I'm not worried about losing business to anyone or anything like that, because there's plenty of athletes out here. You read off some numbers. There's millions of them out here, so everybody's going to get theirs. But I think it's about getting the kids in college, getting them to the next level. I've seen so many of them who didn't make it because of academics or the wrong information, or someone put them in the wrong direction. Some coach or a family friend said, "Oh, I'll help you," and then it all became a disaster. So these families have to know to go to someone that they can trust, that is local in the community, that they can call up, that they can see, that they can say, "Hey, man, I need some advice. I need some help with this issue." And I think that's really very, very important, because you're not going to run out of student athletes. When this group of seniors is gone, there's another group coming up. A whole bunch of middle school kids are coming up, and they need this information. There's a lot of colleges out there. Opportunities are everywhere. I say go to a college where you can play ball, get an education. Okay, I got my education. I didn't graduate from school a long time ago. It's still with me. I played ball overseas. Those memories are great. But just being able to that experience of going to college and being around a great group of teammates and all of that is something that you'll remember forever. Because I don't know what I got on a math exam in college back in 1983. I don't know, but I can tell you about the games I played in 1983. I can tell you about all of that. So those are the memories I have. I can tell you about the teammates and all of that, and that's what these athletes should have: great memories, great experiences, and a college degree.
Awesome. Well, we got to do this again, Al.
Absolutely.
The different questions. Maybe we can get that video working so they can see you get throwing down with the knowledge. But before I let you go, please, support my brother. It's a Black-owned recruiting service. Woods Recruiting, woodsrecruiting.com. Al, you want to give out any of your social media, anything I'm missing?
I'm everywhere. I'm on Twitter at Woods Recruiting. I'm Al Woods on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not on Instagram. So, and then we are redesigning, in the process of redesigning our website, so it should look like $1 million here in a few weeks.
All right.
So we've got the top tools. So, but yeah, we've been in a long time. We've helped a lot of kids get into school. We've helped kids who had no chance, no hope, and we got a lot of them scholarships. So, so we're gonna make this thing keep it going and help as many as we can from all sports.
Wow, man. So I really want to appreciate you again. I want to say Hotep, peace to everybody. And like we learned in the Black Business School, stay poised, be a producer, owner, investor, saver, entrepreneur. And Al, thanks again. And we're going to get this in again. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. Have a good one, Al.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right. All right, everyone. That was a great conversation with my man, Al Woods. And we're out of here. I want to let you know that we're going to be doing a lot more podcasts, a lot more streaming and stuff like that. So that's going to be phenomenal stuff that we can do. So stay tuned to the channel, man. You're going to be getting a lot of powerful information about college recruiting, investing in stocks and bonds, Black knowledge and power, everything. We're going to be interviewing guests, how to be an entrepreneur. We're looking forward to interviewing Omar Muhammad, and he has a phenomenal program called Black Father Entrepreneurs. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. We're going to be having Brother Omar on here in a few days, and he's another person that's dear to me because he helped me start my first business. I've started several businesses, and I've always contacted Brother Omar to get advice. Just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. The website, the launch is coming up. It's about to be a phenomenal tool. The Black Business Directory. If you're a Black business owner, we have a free directory for you. Whether you're in Maryland to California, we want to put all those Black businesses out there. So if someone's looking for something, they can click on it, search for that area. We have to support each other, man. We got to support each other. We got to start our own businesses, and we got to start focusing on generational wealth. And all of these topics we're going to be talking about. So on that note, man, we're about to get up out of here, and I'm going to see you guys again. Stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the video, man. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the video, and we'll definitely get it in. So like, subscribe to the video, and we're up out of here, man. Thanks a lot. Real truth and power.